Hollywood, the land of dreams and nightmares with no fixed address. Think celebrities always live in mansions, drive Lambos, and sip oat milk lattes. Think again. Some of the biggest stars crashed harder than their last box office flop. Once adored by millions, now barely recognized by the guy at the soup kitchen. From fame to shame to sleeping on sidewalks, these are the jaw-dropping, tragic, and sometimes downright bizarre stories of stars who lost it all. Number 1, Jim Carrey, from rubber-faced comedy god to a man who ghosted Hollywood for inner peace. Jim Carrey wasn't just famous, he was everywhere. In the 90s, you couldn't flip a channel without landing on his wild grin, yelling, "Alrighty then." From Ace Ventura to The Mask to Dumb and Dumber, he was the king of comedy, earning $20 million per movie and stretching his face in ways that should have required a chiropractor. But here's the twist: behind the elastic grin was a soul in crisis. Fame didn't fill the void. Jim battled depression, personal tragedies, and what he called the illusion of self. After losing his former girlfriend to suicide and facing public scrutiny, Jim did what few stars dare to do: he disappeared. He swapped Hollywood parties for painting. In solitude, grew a beard that screamed philosopher on sabbatical, and started dropping existential truth bombs in interviews that left fans wondering if Ace Ventura had joined a monastery. Today, Jim Carrey pops up occasionally in indie films or with a wild political cartoon. He's traded box office hits for peace of mind, and honestly, that might be his most powerful role yet. Who knew the man behind Smokin' would become the guy saying, "Stop chasing fame, chase meaning instead." Number 2, Amanda Peterson, from teen dream to heartbreaking silence. In 1987, Amanda Peterson was the girl, with a million-watt smile and feathered bangs to die for. She starred opposite Patrick Dempsey in Can't Buy Me Love and totally stole the movie. Every guy wanted to date her, every girl wanted to be her. She was America's crush, and it looked like the start of a glittering Hollywood career. But fame, like high school popularity, fades fast. After her breakout role, Amanda's star began to dim. She took a few smaller roles, then quietly vanished from the spotlight, not because she wanted to, but because Hollywood just stopped calling. By her early 20s, she was done with acting. The pressures of early fame, combined with unspoken trauma and substance abuse, took a toll that few saw coming. Out of the public eye, Amanda struggled with addiction, legal trouble, and isolation. She turned down interviews, avoided the red carpet, and lived far from the glitz in Greeley, Colorado. A far cry from movie premieres, but maybe closer to peace, or so we hoped. In 2015, Amanda was found dead at just 43 years old. The cause, an accidental drug overdose. Her death shocked fans who remembered her as the queen bee of teen rom-coms, and reminded us all that behind even the brightest smiles, pain can hide in plain sight. Number 3, Aaron Carter, from pop prince to tabloid tragedy. Born in 1987 in Tampa, Florida, Aaron hit the stage at just 7 years old. By 9, he dropped his debut album and sold over 1 million copies. By the early 2000s, he was everywhere. Aaron's "Party Come Get It" was blasting in every kid's room, and "I Want Candy" became a tween anthem. He had the fame, the fans, the fortune, and then it all unraveled. Aaron's rise came with a heavy price: a messy family, toxic money management, public meltdowns, and a growing battle with addiction. He was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and severe anxiety. Rehab stints, arrests, bankruptcy. He went from sold-out arenas to courtrooms and couch surfing. The teen idol had become a headline for all the wrong reasons. Still, Aaron tried to come back. Reality TV, new music, touring. But the spotlight that once lit up his world now burned. In 2013, he filed for bankruptcy, drowning in debt. Fans watched with heartbreak as their childhood hero struggled to stay afloat. On November 5, 2022, Aaron was found dead at just 34. Cause accidental drowning after inhaling and ingesting drugs. His story isn't just a fall from fame, it's a brutal reminder of what happens when the world cheers you on, but forgets to ask if you're okay. Number 4, Gary Coleman, the child star with the catchphrase everyone loved, and a real life that no one saw coming. Born in 1968 in Zion, Illinois, Gary became a household name as Arnold Jackson on Different Strokes. With his iconic line, "What you talking about us?" Baldwin Whitnells, he owned primetime TV in the late 70s and early 80s. He wasn't just cute, he was cashing in big time. At his peak, Gary was making $100,000 per episode, out-earning most adults, including the ones raising him. But behind the scenes, total chaos. His adoptive parents and business advisors burned through his money like it was Monopoly cash. By the time he hit adulthood, the millions were gone. He sued his parents, struggled to find work, and thanks to a mix of medical issues and Hollywood's brutal typecasting, fell off the radar hard. Gary went from sitcom royalty to working as a mall security guard. Yep, you read that right, from red carpets to rent-a-cop. He even joked about it himself, proving his sense of humor survived longer than his career. He filed for bankruptcy in 1999 and lived with ongoing health problems for years. In 2010, at just 42, Gary passed away from a brain hemorrhage. Fans mourned, remembering the bright, witty kid who lit up their screens and the grown man who never got the peace he deserved. Number 5. Brett Butler, from sitcom queen to sofa surfing her fall, was no punchline. Back in the 90s, Brett Butler was TV gold. Starring as the sharp-tongued, no-nonsense single mom Grace Kelly on Grace Under Fire, she was raking in laughs and cash. Critics loved her, fans adored her, and ABC was throwing money at her like she was the last comic standing. At her peak, she was making $250,000 per episode. That's per week, folks. But behind the scenes, Grace was under fire for real. Brett battled a serious addiction to painkillers, which she later admitted started after a car accident. As the pills piled up, so did the problems. Erratic behavior, tension on set, and burned bridges led to her show getting canceled faster than a bad Netflix original. What came next? A spiral. Brett blew through $25 million like it was loose change, trusting the wrong people, and making some questionable financial decisions. Eventually, she lost her home and found herself homeless, living in a modest apartment, thanks to the kindness of a friend and reportedly her cat. Number 6, Randy Quaid, Hollywood's eccentric uncle who went off script and off grid. Randy Quaid was once a legit powerhouse, Oscar-nominated beloved for roles in The Last Detail, National Lampoon's Vacation, and Independence Day. But somewhere between alien invasions and Christmas lights, things got weird. Like Flee the Country because Hollywood is trying to kill me weird. Randy and his wife Evie spiraled into full-blown conspiracy mode, claiming a shadowy group called the Hollywood Star Whackers was out to destroy them. They were arrested for squatting in homes they didn't own, skipped court dates, and eventually ran to Canada for asylum. Yes, Canada. At one point, Randy went from red carpets to mugshots, from studio sets to YouTube rants filmed in dimly lit hotel rooms. His beard got longer, his statements got stranger, and his acting gigs non-existent. Once a respected character actor, Randy Quaid is now more of a campfire legend. Proof that in Hollywood, you can go from Emmy-worthy to what the hell happened in under a decade. Number 7, Wesley Snipes, the vampire-slaying action hero who couldn't dodge the IRS. In the 90s, Wesley Snipes was unstoppable. From Blade to White Men Can't Jump to New Jack City, he kicked, punched, and wisecracked his way into superstardom. He had martial arts moves, movie star swagger, and cheekbones that could cut glass. Wesley wasn't just in movies, he was the movie. But while he was dodging bullets on screen, he forgot to dodge something far deadlier: taxes. Turns out, you can't kung fu your way out of filing with the IRS. In 2008, Snipes was convicted of willfully failing to file tax returns on over $20 million in income. The government gave him 3 years in real prison, not just the movie kind. He served time in a federal facility where there were no red carpets, no stunt doubles, and definitely no vampires. Upon release, Wesley tried to make a comeback, and to his credit, he did return in Coming to America and some indie films. But the shine had faded. Snipes' story is a Hollywood classic, from A-list action star to inmate number 43355, a reminder that even if you can fight off the undead, the taxman always wins, and he doesn't need silver bullets. Number 8, Lisa Robin Kelly, the sitcom sister who lost her way when the laughter stopped. Lisa Robin Kelly lit up screens as Lori Foreman, the snarky, troublemaking older sister on that 70s show. She had attitude, timing, and a smirk that could shut down Eric with a single line. Fans loved her or loved to hate her, but either way, she was TV gold. Then mid-series, she vanished. One season, she was stirring the pot. The next, poof, she was gone. What happened? Off-screen, Lisa was spiraling. Addiction issues, legal troubles, and personal heartbreaks piled up like bad punchlines in a sad sitcom. The giggles were over, and reality hit like a bad hangover. Her mugshots became more frequent than auditions. She was arrested multiple times for DUI and assault, and struggled to maintain sobriety. Hollywood stopped calling. She checked into rehab, hoping to flip the script, but her demons refused to cut to commercial. Tragically, in 2013, Lisa died at just 43 years old from multiple drug intoxication while staying at a rehab facility. Fans were shocked, heartbroken, and haunted by the girl who once owned the screen with sass and sparkle. Her story, proof that even in comedy, real life doesn't always have a laugh track, and sometimes the loudest pain is hidden behind the biggest smiles. Number 9, Danny Bonaduce, from TV's favorite red-headed troublemaker to real-life wildcard. Back in the 70s, Danny Bonaduce was a pint-sized superstar stealing scenes as Danny Partridge on The Partridge Family. He had the charm, the sarcasm, and more swagger than a 12-year-old should legally be allowed. Fans adored him. Fame nailed it. Fortune, for a while. Sanity, well, that one got tricky. As the spotlight dimmed, Danny's life went full rock and roll train wreck. Think addiction arrests bad marriages, worse headlines. He was the walking definition of child star gone rogue. One minute he's doing stand-up, the next he's body slamming people in pro wrestling matches, because why not? In his darkest days, Danny hit real rock bottom, homeless, broke, and spiraling. Once living in a car, now just trying to survive. But true to his Partridge roots, he didn't stop singing, metaphorically, of course. Danny clawed his way back into the public eye with brutal honesty. He hosted radio shows, starred in a wild reality series, Breaking Bonaduce Anyone, and became a living cautionary tale with punchlines. Number 10, Corey Haim, the heartthrob who couldn't outrun his own shadow. In the 80s, Corey Haim was it. With that boyish grin and bad boy charm, he ruled teen cinema in hits like The Lost Boys, Lucas, and License to Drive. If you had a locker, his poster was probably inside it. He was one half of the two Corey's teen royalty party animals, paparazzi bait. But behind the fame, a dark script. Corey started using drugs as a teenager, not just a little Hollywood experimenting, but the kind of spiral that makes rehab a recurring appointment. Fame faded, roles dried up, and Corey was left chasing his own ghost. By his 20s, he was battling addiction, bankruptcy, and became Hollywood's cautionary tale. At one point, he was selling his hair on eBay. Yes, his actual hair. If that's not a rock bottom, what is? He tried to bounce back: indie films, reality shows with Corey Feldman, public declarations of being clean. But the demons were relentless. In 2010, Corey Haim died at just 38 years old. Officially pneumonia. Unofficially, years of pain, pressure, and pills. He was a star who burned too fast, too bright, a teen icon turned tragic. Footnote. Number 11. John Drew Barrymore. Born into royalty, crashed like a commoner. You'd think being a Barrymore meant a lifetime supply of champagne limousines and Oscar speeches, right? Well, John Drew Barrymore, son of Hollywood legend. John Barrymore, and father of Drew, proved the family name wasn't bulletproof. With that iconic face and famous bloodline, he should have been unstoppable. Instead, he became the family's cautionary tale. In the 50s and 60s, John had promise. He was handsome, brooding, and had all the makings of a leading man. But he also had a knack for skipping auditions, tanking opportunities, and partying harder than the script required. His career fizzled faster than a firecracker in a rainstorm. Cue the spiral substance abuse legal trouble and a rebellious streak that made Hollywood blacklist him literally. At one point, he was banned from acting for several years by the Screen Actors Guild. That's how hard he blew it. By the time the 80s rolled around, John was more myth than man, a recluse bouncing between odd jobs, odd behaviors, and occasionally being found drunk on sidewalks. He passed away in 2004 at age 72, largely forgotten by the industry that once buzzed with his name. Number 12, Marvin Gaye, the Prince of Soul who asked what's going on and lived the answer in tragedy. Marvin Gaye wasn't just a singer, he was a mood. With a voice as smooth as silk and lyrics that cut to the bone, he gave us timeless hits like Sexual Healing and Let's Get It On. He was Motown royalty, a musical genius, and sex appeal wrapped in a velvet suit. But behind the soul and swagger, Marvin was a man at war with fame, addiction, love, and eventually his own father. His life off stage was filled with financial chaos, drug abuse, and emotional turmoil that rivaled any of his most heart-wrenching ballads. By the early 80s, Marvin was broke paranoid and reportedly living in a van in Hawaii. Yes, a van. From stadium tours to sleeping on four wheels, even the best falsetto can't pay the IRS. Then came the ultimate tragedy. On April 1st, 1984, just one day before his 45th birthday, Marvin Gaye was shot and killed by his own father during a heated argument at home. The world lost a legend, and the music stopped mid-verse. Marvin's story, heartbreaking, raw, and far too real. He gave the world his voice and lived a life that showed us exactly what was going on. Number 13, Natasha Lyonne, the wild child who crashed, burned, and then directed the sequel. Before she was surviving Prison in Orange is the New Black, or Bending Time in Russian Doll, Natasha Lyonne was that cool, scrappy girl you recognized from every late 90s cult movie. But I'm a Cheerleader, Slums of Beverly Hills, American Pie. She had edge, she had talent, and she had absolutely no filter on screen or off. But Hollywood's favorite firecracker came with a short fuse. By her mid-20s, Natasha's life was more chaotic than a Russian Doll plot twist. Drug addiction. Check. Multiple arrests. Oh yeah, hospitalized with a collapsed lung and heart infection. Sadly, yes. She was evicted, broke, and at one point reportedly homeless, couch surfing and barely surviving. Most people counted her out. She was the punchline, the whatever happened to name on every tabloid list. But Natasha wasn't done. She cleaned up, showed up, and flipped the script. Now she's back and bigger than ever, acting, writing, directing. Her comeback is a masterclass in surviving Hollywood with scars and style. If life is a mess, Natasha Lyonne's Living Proof, turn it into a hit series, add sarcasm, and call it a masterpiece. Number 14, Willie Ames, from teen heartthrob to homeless and back again with a Bible and a briefcase. In the 70s and 80s, Willie Ames was everywhere, charming America in Eight is Enough, and later rocking a mullet in Charles in Charge. He had the looks, the fame, and even a cult fan base when he suited up as a Christian superhero named Bible Man. Yep, that happened. But when the cameras stopped rolling, so did the paychecks. As his fame faded, Willie turned to drugs, alcohol, and denial, a cocktail that doesn't exactly pay the rent. The gigs dried up and the bank account followed. One day he was on magazine covers, the next he was sleeping in parking garages, digging through dumpsters, and applying for jobs he never imagined. But here's where it flips. Willie didn't stay down. He sobered up, found faith, hence Bible Man, and started from scratch. Waiting tables, working on cruise ships, even becoming a financial advisor. You can't make this stuff up. Today, he's clean grounded and speaking to crowds about redemption. His life part cautionary tale, part comeback tour. And if Hollywood ever makes the Willie Ames story, you better believe it'll have one hell of a third act. Number 15, MC Hammer, the rap king, who danced straight into bankruptcy court. In the early 90s, MC Hammer wasn't just a rapper, he was a movement. With parachute pants bigger than your dreams and beats that slapped harder than your mama's flip-flop, You Can't Touch This became a global anthem. Hammer was raking in a mind-blowing $33 million a year, living in a 40,000 square foot mansion with a staff of 200 people and enough gold chains to anchor a cruise ship. But here's the thing, when you spend like a Vegas casino on fire, the money disappears faster than your last pay stub. Hammer bought cars, horses, a private jet, and probably a few things he doesn't even remember owning. Add lawsuits, troubles, and a music career that suddenly cooled off. And by 1996, Hammer filed for bankruptcy, drowning in $14 million of debt. They even auctioned off his iconic pants. The man who once told the world, "You can't touch this," got touched by the IRS creditors and brutal reality. But Hammer didn't stay down. He reinvented himself as a preacher, entrepreneur, and tech investor. These days, he's still dancing just with spreadsheets. His story, proof that even if you blow millions, you can still bounce back, just maybe with slimmer pants. Number 16, David Cassidy, from teen idol to tragic icon. The partridge flew too close to the sun. Back in the 1970s, David Cassidy was it. With feathered hair, a $1 million smile, and the voice that made hearts swoon, he starred as Keith Partridge in The Partridge Family. He wasn't just famous, he was Beatles-level famous. We're talking fan mobs, sold-out stadiums, and underwear flying through the air like confetti. But as the screaming faded, real life hit like a bass drum. David struggled with alcoholism, debt, broken relationships, and the brutal whiplash of falling from fame. He went from teen dream to tabloid cautionary tale. By 2010, he was bankrupt and evicted, reportedly living out of his car, a far cry from limo rides and tour buses. He fought for a comeback, tried reality shows and concerts, but the spark never fully reignited. In his final years, David revealed he was battling dementia. And on November 21, 2017, the curtain closed for good when he died of liver failure at age 67. David Cassidy's story is a bittersweet song, a rise to superstardom, a fall into struggle, and a legacy that still echoes. He once sang, "I think I love you," and we did. We still do. Number 17, Mindy McCready, the country darling whose life played out like a heartbreak ballad. In the mid-90s, Mindy McCready's voice was everywhere. Her hit "Guys Do It All the Time" shot up the charts, and with her blonde hair and powerhouse vocals, she became Nashville's new sweetheart. But behind the rhinestones and radio play was a woman fighting demons louder than any guitar solo. Mindy's story had more plot twists than a soap opera: addiction, abusive relationships, custody battles, and multiple arrests. One minute she was on stage, the next in court. Rehab became a revolving door. She tried comebacks, but each return seemed to come with more chaos than applause. At one point, Mindy's life unraveled so far, she appeared on Celebrity Rehab bearing her soul to the world, and her pain was undeniable. Her ex died by suicide in 2013, and just weeks later, Mindy too took her life at age 37 on the same porch where he died. Her story is gutting, a powerful voice silenced by pain. She wasn't just another fallen star, she was proof that fame can't fix trauma, and sometimes the spotlight only makes the shadows darker. Country music lost a true talent, and the world lost a woman who deserved more than tragedy. Number 18, Dana Plato, the America's sweetheart, who got chewed up by the very industry that made her. In the late 70s and early 80s, Dana Plato was TV royalty. As Kimberly Drummond on Different Strokes, she played the sweet, stylish big sister, a calming voice in a house full of punchlines. But once the credits rolled, Dana's real life was anything but a sitcom. When the show ended, so did her career. Hollywood had no idea what to do with her except forget her. Struggling for work, she turned to B-movies, then infamously posed for Playboy, and later even starred in a softcore video game. Yes, a video game. With her career crashing, Dana fell hard into drug addiction, legal trouble, and some truly wild headlines, including robbing a dry cleaner with a pellet gun. From TV star to tabloid tragedy, her fall was public and brutal. She tried to clean up, even went on The Howard Stern Show to prove she was sober. A day later, on May 8, 1999, Dana was found dead from an overdose. She was just 34. Her life was a tragic, cautionary tale, the sweet girl next door, who never got the happy ending. Hollywood gave her fame and left her with nothing but reruns and regret. Number 19, Erin Moran, from America's sweetheart to a heartbreaking, cautionary tale. In the 70s and early 80s, Erin Moran was TV royalty. As Joni Cunningham on Happy Days, she was cute, spunky, and totally crush-worthy. Viewers watched her grow up on screen, and when Joni Loves Chachi rolled around, she officially had her own spin-off. Fame check. Fan base massive. Future supposedly bright. But once the show ended, so did the fairy tale. Hollywood stopped calling. Roles dried up. And like so many child stars before her, Erin struggled to transition from TV teen queen to adult actress. Financial problems crept in, followed by reports of eviction instability and rumored homelessness. Tabloids had a field day. Joni hits rock bottom, they screamed, forgetting she was a human, not just a headline. Behind the scenes, Erin was dealing with illness, loss, and fading stardom far from the glitz of her glory days. In 2017, Erin passed away from stage 4 throat cancer at just 56 years old. No Chachi by her side, no sitcom laugh track to soften the blow, just a quiet, tragic ending for someone who once brought joy to millions. Her story reminds us nostalgia might live forever, but the people behind it need more than memories to survive. Number 20, Lonnie Willison, from Baywatch Beauty to Vanished in Plain Sight. Once upon a red carpet flashbulb, Lonnie Willison was living the dream. A stunning model, fitness influencer, and former Baywatch actress, she had the looks, the body, and a Hollywood husband. Hello, Jeremy Jackson. But in Tinseltown, dreams often have an expiration date, and Lonnie's turned into a waking nightmare. After a messy divorce and mental health struggles, Lonnie dropped off the radar completely. No press, no social media, no glammed-up selfies. Years later, paparazzi found her homeless on the streets of LA, rummaging through trash, missing teeth, and refusing help, a heartbreaking image that felt like a punch to the gut. What happened? According to Lonnie, a mix of trauma, addiction, and a complete loss of trust in people. She turned her back on society, opting to live off the grid, literally. And despite multiple rescue attempts by friends and tabloids, she insisted she didn't want saving. Lonnie's story isn't glamorous, it's gritty, uncomfortable, and very real. It's a stark reminder that in Hollywood, you can go from magazine covers to sleeping under them, and sometimes the most painful falls don't make a sound. Number 21, John Michael Vincent, the 70s heartthrob, who flew too high and crashed without a parachute. At his peak, John Michael Vincent wasn't just a leading man, he was the man. Chiseled jaw, golden locks, and eyes that screamed bad boy with a soft side. He starred in hits like Airwolf the Mechanic and Hooper, alongside Hollywood royalty like Burt Reynolds and John Wayne. He was cool before cool had Wi-Fi. But behind the Hollywood glamour, Jan was battling a script he couldn't rewrite, addiction, rage, and a talent for self-destruction. His career nosedived as fast as his reputation. He went from top billing to mugshots, and from studio lots to hospital beds. By the early 2000s, John Michael was homeless, broke, and almost unrecognizable. The man who once made hearts flutter was now making headlines for all the wrong reasons: DUIs, bar fights, and eventually a leg amputation due to untreated infection. Yeah, it got that dark. He passed away in 2019 at 74 from cardiac arrest, far from the action-packed spotlight he once owned. Spotlight he once owned. Spotlight he once owned. Spotlight he once owned.